AskReddit by Flint the Dad. What's an immediate red flag that you are in a dangerous neighborhood? Chris Rock said it best: if you enter a neighborhood at noon and you see men walking around in sweatpants, lifting weights in the front yard, and using a child's bike as their mode of transportation, you are in danger. Also, Chris Rock, I don't give a fuck where you are in America. If you are on Martin Luther King Boulevard, there's some violence going down. If I see no women or girls on the streets after dusk who aren't accompanied by a grown man. The middle of the day and all dudes hanging out in the streets. No women walking around. As a woman, this is one of the first things I notice. When it's like a section of town is exclusively populated by men, that's when I GTFO there. The gas station cashier is behind 1 inches bulletproof glass. And they sell Luzies. A grown man riding a child's bike down the middle of the road. Debo. Bars on all the windows. Really high windows too. Like high up on the wall. Cops in Atlanta on foot patrol telling us that they don't let anybody hang out on the stoop of a building after midnight, even if you were just smoking a cigarette. Few minutes later, some guy walked up and told us we needed to move along and then lifted his shirt to show the pistol in his waistband. We went inside. Got lost in Atlanta after a Fish show in '99 or so. We knew we were in the bad part of town. It just had that bad vibe. Like we were being watched. Saw a cop and flashed my lights at him. He got out, took one look at us in our tie-dyes and sandals in our new white Corolla and chuckled, "You lost." He gave us directions to get on the interstate. He then told us not to stop even for stop signs or lights and to not get off the interstate until after a certain exit. Poor roofing on houses. Roofs are expensive, and one thing I've noticed in rough, poorer neighborhoods is roofs tend to have a waviness to them. Or the good old blue tarp roof patch. Only adult male pedestrians. As someone who flies low level over just about all parts of Chicago, the main thing from an aerial point of view is the number of empty lots between houses. Dude, if you can fly, why the fuck are you on Reddit? Lookouts. Young kids on corners or sitting on mailboxes who watch you as you enter the neighborhood and whistle to warn others that a stranger, or worse, is approaching. Took me a while to figure it out, but now it's one of the first things I notice. Also, a bunch of guys hanging around an oil barrel fire in the middle of the street. That means you've gone too far. I've played enough 90s beat 'em ups to know that the second one is a bad sign. Though the fact that the mayor was a former pro wrestler should have clued me in that something sketchy was going on there. People treating red lights like stop signs. This is so true. Was driving around STL and wound up taking a wrong turn and everyone was running the reds, and that was my signal to find my way out, fast. It is a prejudgment, of course, but a check cashing place, usually with a liquor store right next to it. And a Cricket Wireless next to the title porn place. Working payphones. Bars on windows and excessive fencing around front yards would be a no for me. Wrought iron fencing is pretty popular even in nice urban neighborhoods. Nice cars in front of shitty houses. Literally, like half the cars in my neighborhood are super nice, but every single house apartment is a roach infested dump. Candles and liquor bottles marking memorials on the sidewalk. There's a baby standing on the corner. Streetlights shot out. Look at the churches. As a general rule of thumb, the longer the church names are, the worse the neighborhood. Bonus points if the churches are tiny and only take up a storefront. Note the inverse is not necessarily true though. St. Vincent's Roman Catholic Church is not necessarily indicative of a good neighborhood, but St. Vincent the Holy Beloved and his Sacred Apostles Church of the Lord Jesus Christ is a sign that you're deep in the hood. I've never seen this with a Catholic church, but the evangelical ones always have wild names like the Healing Oil from His Blessed Word or Breakthrough Fire Ministries International. Cars missing tires, and bikes with only their frames attached to a bike lock. Very neck specific, but if the delis only operate through one of those spinning windows at night and don't let people inside. A brand new Dodge Charger Hellcat with body damage parked in the driveway next to a 1989 Honda Accord on jack stands. You recognize the neighborhood from the show Cops. The convenience store sells cheap socks right by the spray paint. They sell those paper flowers in glass tubes. They have those glass collectibles that are obviously crack pipes. You live in a state where weed is still illegal, so the bongs in the glass case are for tobacco only. Nowhere to buy groceries. Just liquor stores.